and Fulton coming to you on a Tuesday of Super Bowl 57 week. Thank you so much for tagging along. Hopefully you enjoyed last night and it was an enjoyable game. If you are a neutral party in basketball or a KU fan, or you enjoy watching your favorite football team answer really dumb but yet fun questions. I had a good time last night. Double screen was up. Great to see KU bounce back at home. Death, taxes, Patrick Mahomes, and KU winning at home on Big Monday as Bill Self is the head coach. Those are all now locked in situations that will always occur. Always.
36-0.
They are inevitable.
36-0.
No, it's more like 847-0. That's what it feels like, to be honest.
It's what it does, but no. Yeah, no, I enjoyed myself.
Like.
KU won a game and scored 88 points, and Jalen Wilson had 2 of the 88.
Bum.
Cheeks.
Not even player of the year anymore. We'll talk a little hoops. We're going to get to a lot of opening night that occurred yesterday. We did learn a lot. We did. We learned a lot last night. That's the benefit of this. It really is. This is for the fun, quirky, have some fun. We'll get to that. We're going to hear from head coach Andy Reid. I believe he just got done speaking with the media. So we'll get to it with Big Red. We're going to hear from Dan Lucero, a little CrossTalk. Matt Derrick will join us at 1:30 today because the Chiefs media is speaking right now. So we'll talk with our Herman's Meat Smokehouse Chiefs insider coming up at 1:35. We'll hear from the Chiefs and all of that. So that's coming up today. Everyone loves the list. The worst guy at the Super Bowl party or gal, either one works. That's going to be our list today. We'll talk a little red zone versus red zone. It might come down to the red zone. It will. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our very simple, very easy comment section on YouTube. Go to youtube.com, Sports on 580. Hit subscribe. You can also check us out on our website, 580wmaw.com. Very easy, very simple. Check us out in the comment. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line. First thing about yesterday is L'Jarius Sneed is good to go. Kind of had a feeling Sneed would be all right, but he said yesterday he cleared concussion protocol, so he'll have this full week of practice to gear up for the game, which is a huge boost because you need L'Jarius Sneed going up against guys like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. That helps out. Also, sounds like Kadarius Toney's going to give it a go. Says he's feeling a lot better. That is a benefit because the best way to slow down a fast, hard-charging offensive line is make them go sideways. Or defensive line, beg your pardon. And that's why Mecole Hardman was so successful in the game against the 49ers. Those jet sweep had the 49ers. They had no chance. That's what they need to do. So I think Toney, some jet sweeps, if he is healthy and is good to go. But it sounds like he is going to give it a go as well. So that is some positives for the Kansas City Chiefs from what we gathered from yesterday. But opening night's fun. I enjoyed it. We did learn a lot. I watched it. Watched it a couple times on different sites because there are some good nuggets that you can get from everyone. If you watched it, you saw that there were a lot of Chiefs fans there. And boy, did Patrick Mahomes get an ovation when he was on the podium when Sal Paolantonio had Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Brandon Graham. And it was to the point where it was such a long ovation that Patrick Mahomes, he got kind of awkward. Like he really did. So there are a lot of people there. Biggest thing that I came away with, and I had kind of heard this, but I don't know if it actually went on record, but now we know it is fully on record. Who does the best impression of Patrick Mahomes' voice? Heard a lot of different people, but here's what Mahomes had to say. Who's got the best impression?
Andy Reid has the best impression of my voice. He doesn't do it in front of a lot of people, thankfully, but Andy Reid for sure has the best impression of my voice.
It all kicks off Super Bowl Sunday.
Andy Reid, I would not have thought that if I didn't hear through kind of, some grumblings that he does do a really good Patrick Mahomes impression. Here is what Andy Reid had to say about said Patrick Mahomes impression.
Yeah, you got to let the voice crack just a little bit, but he's got that's a unique voice he has. Very unique. I know what the next question is. Am I going to do it? I'm not doing it. But, I appreciate you. I'm good, but not that good.
So that is Andy Reid. And then Travis Kelce actually did attempt and to share his voice impression of Patrick Mahomes.
You got to have it like right here, and it's not. Most people think it's right here. It's like in the pits. You gotta love this. 180.
180. 180. Trying to indicate you gotta love this. So I know that's terrific. One, it's nice that Patrick Mahomes has some depth, that he does realize he's got a unique voice and that it can be made fun of. But I thought that was great. I did not know. Andy Reid. Here's the thing. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, Andy Reid has to do the voice at the parade when he speaks to the crowd. After we hear from the senators and the mayors and the representatives and all them lame-os, I'm going to tell you this right now. If the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and there's a parade on Wednesday and I have to hear from like 8 dignitaries before I get drunk Patrick Mahomes and absolutely wasted Travis Kelce, we're going to get to what he drinks. No one cares. Clark Hunt, I'll let you speak because you write the checks, okay? I'm all right with that. Write the checks, that's fine. I don't need Mark Donovan, I want Mitch Holthus going ham, like, you can disrespect the Chiefs, you can hate the Chiefs, but you're going to have to deal with the Chiefs. I need more of that. And I don't need Senator whoever from Missouri, Governor, is it Nixon? Is it not Nixon?
I don't know. I just know
no
he's bad.
idea. I just know that whoever it was or is, I don't need you. No one cares about you. Give us the players, okay? But I need Andy Reid to give us the Patrick Mahomes voice. I need that. That would make me feel so happy. Speaking of Travis Kelce, he threw out some information here. Someone asked, Travis Kelce, what's your drink of choice? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? All that. He's like, I like to travel. I like good food. But he says tequila and water. Here's the thing. Tequila is making like a comeback on the sipping drink. I don't know if you know this, Fulton, but
I don't, because I hate it.
Most people, that's because when you drink tequila, you're shooting it probably as shots or it's in a margarita. Okay. First of all, who hates margaritas?
Now that one is fair. Margaritas are delicious and a gift from the heavens above.
Exactly. But, like a lot of people now, big whiskey, when you turn 35, you have to choose between 4 things. Either going to get really into golf, really into beer, really into whiskey, or really into grilling. You have to do
Thank
one
God
of those.
I'm already kind of into all 4 of those things.
That's what you have to really get into. I'm obviously really into golf.
Yeah, you picked golf.
Yeah, I picked golf.
I look
like bourbon right now.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. What do you do with bourbon? You sip the bourbon.
Yeah.
That's what people are doing with tequila now.
Right.
If you think about it, go buy a really nice bottle of tequila.
I'm not going to do that.
But just sip it.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm just telling it. But you do that with bourbon.
So here's my thing with tequila, because we've apparently gotten onto this subject, and I'm just going to point this out. My issue with tequila is not the delivery method where I'm having it. It's the taste profile.
Then you need to drink better tequila. What do you drink? Like Montezuma, like terrible stuff? You can't think about it. Like, you'll spend a decent amount on a bourbon. You can do the same with tequila, but it's better. Have you ever had like really good tasting tequila? Like I'm talking excellent tequila.
I probably have not had top shelf.
It's
I've
good.
had some
It's good stuff.
mid close to upper shelf, and they're fine. The taste profile just is not for me. But I don't disrespect anyone that prefers it. But yeah,
that's
me.
coming around though. Like
Yes,
really,
no,
sipping
I
tequila
can tell.
big now.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that Travis Kelce let us know. Trying to get you a little. We're gonna drop the knowledge. I did the homework for you, so you didn't have to watch it last night. If you were watching KU, take care of Texas, and you're not in the 21st century, don't have two TVs. Travis Kelce said that he lost every fight to his brother growing up, except for the last one, and that was kind of a draw because they didn't fight after that one. He said the last fight, me and my brother, I held my own, and they haven't fought since. And he goes, you can even ask Jason that. Kind of interesting.
I would have picked that the offensive lineman had won majority of the fights.
See, it's not the old lineman. It's the older brother.
See, I just would have picked the old lineman.
Yeah, but if you look at like photos of like Jason Kelce like growing up, like he wasn't like monster big.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's more so not old lineman, but
Yeah,
just,
no, there's the older brother, younger brother aspect to this, and that Jason's older.
Yeah, that type of thing. They did ask who's better at karaoke. Travis Kelce said his brother Jason. Apparently, his brother can play like 8 instruments. That's what I found out. That
They
Jason
released a Christmas album.
Well, that was more so like in jest, but also they actually like
it was good.
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But they say Jason Kelce's very
musically inclined.
Yes, he's got he can play a bunch of
more reasons for me to like Jason Kelce.
So there's a little information there. Let's go back to Patrick Mahomes. His favorite song. Like someone asked him, "What's your favorite song?" And I think it's
just a hard thing to answer.
I think it is because someone asked him about the halftime show, which is Rihanna, and the joke, because last year Evan McPherson watched, Snoop
Evan McPherson is all of us.
Yes, and so apparently Andy Reid said, yeah, if anybody watches Rihanna, just don't come. You're not going to play in the second half. But Mahomes said that his entire family and his wife is more excited maybe about Rihanna's halftime show than the game. But then someone asked him, what's your favorite song? And Andy Reid went with, or not, Patrick Mahomes went with Umbrella by Rihanna.
Okay.
That would not be my favorite song. Am I stunned that because, someone asked him about it. He's always going to cater. So he mentioned, well, Rihanna's doing it. I like that song, so. But yeah, I went with Rihanna. Everybody kept asking him about, injuries. What's the worst injury that you'd play through? What would you do this? And he said, anything that the trainers clear me, I'm going to play. And he said, Travis Kelce makes fun of me every single day and I still play. So I thought that was kind of interesting when it comes to that. And then Frank Clark was asked, who talks the most trash? And I was expecting Chris Jones.
I really would expect it to be Chris Jones. That man talks.
But apparently, now I think he just wanted to say this because it's not well known. But Frank Clark said that Tommy Townsend talks a lot of trash.
Punters are people too.
Dropping him inside the 5-yard line. What was Tommy yelling to the Eagles? I'm guessing.
I could believe this because if you watch Tommy after he drops a beaut, he's animated after he drops a beauty. Also, Tommy Townsend, arguably second best quarterback on the roster.
Chet Henne did.
I know. This is Chet Henne. I just like making this.
Now is he better than Shane Buechele?
Yeah, we can have conversations.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't surprise me. Punters are fun.
But yeah, Tommy Townsend and that head of hair talking trash. That doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't. What else did we get from this? Chris Jones says that Colin Saunders is the funny guy on the team. He says he's just naturally funny.
I could believe that.
Which is great because there is a video of Colin Saunders out there on Twitter right now where they said, do an impression of Mahomes. And he said, after like a penalty that something occurs, they go down the field and Mahomes sees that it's a penalty and it's on them. He
does the point.
He does the point.
Pat's pointing.
And then he goes, then you got to get him walking back to the huddle where he does the little
does this.
The come
Yep, give me the signal. Come on.
Come motion where he's bringing it in. If you're watching it on YouTube, you can see what I'm talking about. Where he's like, and then as he walks by, like, and Colin Saunders does it great. He goes, bro, you can hear it in your helmet. Why are you telling them to? He's like, come on, let's go. He does that, which is so true.
Yes,
which is so true.
No, he does it every play.
So I think that's terrific. What else we got?
I'm
here?
glad I'm not my friends are the ones who have identified the Pat point.
Yeah, the Pat point and the let's go. Come on. Juju Smith-Schuster says that the best Philly cheesesteak is not in Philly.
Oh, Juju, you've just angered a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's all right. They're already still angry. That's just an angry city.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see. Andy Reid. Andy Reid is everybody's dad, who's just so brilliant at his job. My wife was watching it with me, and she looked up and goes, why is he wearing his credential on the stage? He did. He wore his credential like it said Andy Reid. It's like, we know who you are, Big Red. And he wore it on the stage while he was getting interviewed. I mean, that'd be like you or I going to our first Super Bowl, and we got to make sure we wear our our lanyard,
get our media pass.
Andy Reid, he's everybody's dad. I think somebody then was like, Andy, take it off, and then he took it off because the next time you saw him, he wasn't wearing it. But I'm sure you were there like, hey, put this on, and so he put it on. He's just walking around there. In true Andy Reid fashion, and you have to answer this question. All right.
Okay.
Start, bench, cut. Shake Shack, Five Guys, In-N-Out. Because he's a big cheeseburger guy. Andy Reid said, start them all.
That's fair. There's a problem for me in this question. I haven't had Shake Shack.
The answer is start In-N-Out, bench Shake Shack, cut Five Guys. I know I'm the minority in that.
No. I will say this, though. If we're talking you must get a cheeseburger, I am cutting Five Guys. I do not get a cheeseburger at Five Guys. It is not a tremendous, overwhelming item.
Okay.
Their cheese dog that I get is just as good, a little bit cheaper, very delicious, and I can spend more on fries. I go to Five Guys for the fries. So if we're talking cheeseburgers, you cut Five Guys.
Yeah, I got to cut Five Guys.
You do it. So no, I'm with you on that.
And I think people really underestimate how much Juju Smith-Schuster loves Call of Duty.
Yeah, apparently that dude just does nothing but play Call of Duty.
He said, well, you're going to do if you're going to win. He goes, I'm probably going to cry. I'm going to smile, and then I'll go play some Call of Duty. All right, to each their own.
Man respects the grind.
There you go. That's some info from you for last night in case you missed it. Some great stuff there. You got to know these guys a little bit better.
People, young players.
Yep. Coming up next, Hawks get a win. We'll get to that next. And we now have to see if the two most important players for the Kansas Jayhawks have a type. And that type is very simple. Are you playing at Allen Fieldhouse or are you not? Because it looks like, you go by the last 4 games, 5 games, even longer, if you're playing at home, Kevin McCullough and DeJuan Harris are very good. If you play on the road, they stink. And that's very evident. DeJuan Harris was the reason they won the game. And secondly, Kevin McCullough gave you something. But that was, like I said yesterday, that was a must-win game. Yeah. You can't go 3 games down with 7 games to go and expect to win. They are now down a single game. They are 1 game back. And that is very easy to overcome.
Especially when you have Texas left on the schedule.
Last game of the year, it might come down to that.
Yeah.
I thought Marcus Carr is fantastic.
Marcus Carr's so good, and I never want to see him again. And I know I have to now.
He's really good.
He's so good, and I don't like seeing him because it means my team has to deal with him.
That, and I really don't know if Texas has a head coach.
Fair.
Marcus Carr grabbed the whiteboard and drew up his own play during a timeout.
Hey, it's working.
Is it working, or is Texas just got really good players?
That's why it's working.
But that was big for KU. It really, really was.
Did you ever think you would see DeJuan Harris take 16 shots in a game?
No, absolutely not.
Same.
It was but the reason why, very simple. They got to the paint, and that's what Bill Self said. They needed to get to the paint.
That's what he wanted.
Coming up, we got a little crosstalk with Dan Lucero, and then we'll hear from Andy Reid coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. O'clock hour, we'll hear from Andy Reid. We will hear from Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They are speaking to the media today. We will get to that in the 1 and the 2 o'clock hour. Matt Derrick will join us an hour from right now. Normally talk with Matt every single Tuesday at 12:30 here on our Herman's Meat and Smokehouse Chiefs Insider. But Matt doing his job right now. So we are going to talk with Matt an hour from right now as we head to the bullpen. And because Matt could not make it here at 12:30, and we're going to have him at 1:30, we made the guy who could switch times, make the switch. So Dan Lucero, 580 Sports Talk, joining us for a little crosstalk here. Are we going to the bullpen?
We're going to the pen.
Or is this the opener?
I'm the opener for Derrick. I'll get a couple outs and give way to Derrick for some length and some
the opener.
Yeah.
Some insight today when he will hear, and we'll get to that. But already, Dan, last night, did you watch opening night? Did you watch any of that? You didn't?
No.
See, I like that. I like opening night. I told Fulton the KU game got put on the small screen.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake primary screened 2 hours of interview.
You small screened Real Sports for a press conference.
Yes.
Yes, because I get stuff from these press conferences that you don't normally get.
Yes.
And that's fun to me.
Stuff like Nick Sirianni being asked which of his players he wouldn't let date his daughter. His 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah, see, but you're choosing
that reporter or that person just needs to be kicked out of the event.
Like I don't look at that. I look at, who does the best Andy Reid impression or Patrick Mahomes impression? Well, it's Andy Reid. I did not know that. I did not realize that Travis Kelce loves drinking tequila and water.
I would have guessed that.
I did not know that Colin Saunders is the true comedian of the team. I did not know. Let's see, what other stuff did we just mention?
You really didn't know? Okay, this is the third time the Chiefs have done this in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if it was like the first time the Chiefs had done this. And I realized that the 2020 game, you really didn't have this. You didn't have the opening night.
No, there's none.
It was the COVID year.
Yeah.
But like, don't you know this stuff about the guys by now? I mean, it's different if it was, once in a generation type deal, but
no,
this third time in 4 years these guys have been
no,
here.
Did you know that Tommy Townsend talks the most trash?
Did not know that.
Yeah. Did you know that, let's see here. Juju Smith-Schuster said the best Philly cheesesteak is not in Philly. That's interesting. That's one man's opinion.
The best Philly cheesesteak is at the gas station across from the radio station I used to work at in Sterling, Colorado. It was really good. Man.
Patrick Mahomes' favorite song is
cheesesteak.
Umbrella by Rihanna.
Is it his favorite song or is it a favorite Rihanna song?
They just said favorite song. Now, it's hard to hear the question. Maybe it was Rihanna song, and he went with that. He did say that his family is more excited to see Rihanna. And if you try to pull an Evan McPherson and watch the halftime, you're not playing the second half. Found that out.
But I could definitely believe Jackson Mahomes is more hyped for the Rihanna show.
They said his wife's pretty excited.
He'll be in front of the phone. He's gonna be doing a TikTok. He's gonna be crumping.
Yeah, but
he's gonna be doing all kinds of dances we haven't heard of.
Yeah, but he's toned that down a lot. Have you noticed that? Like there's no more, Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah, he hasn't been in the headlines this year.
And we can all put the tinfoil hats on that maybe Patrick told him to knock that crap off.
Yeah. So I enjoy that. Yeah, I can watch basketball on a smaller screen with no sound. I can go, holy smokes, that was an incredible pass by DeJuan Harris, or wow, Joseph Yesufu. He had a fantastic game off the bench.
He's got hops.
Big O Tires text line. No Yesufu love. Juan was great, but Joe was the player of the game. Joe was a huge boost.
Joe was a nice spark.
Big
he was
boost.
not the most important player of the game.
I think Bill Self would maybe agree with our texter here that
without Bill Self did.
Yeah,
Bill
without
Bill Self was wrong.
Okay.
Bill Self was wrong.
Now,
I'm not going to go that far.
So KU's good when DeJuan Harris is good. Like there's a direct correlation.
Yes.
More so, KU is not good when DeJuan Harris is not good. Like for them to be their best, he has to play at a high level. And he played at a high level last night. No question about it. But yeah, they needed some spark. They needed some life from their bench. And it was very clear when the first set of minutes when those guys were on the floor, when it was Uday and Yesufu. Is it Uday or Uday? They were calling him Uday last night on the TV, and I thought maybe I had been wrong.
As far as I know from all the KU stuff I listen to, it is Uday.
So Uday, but those first minutes when you had Uday,
not to be confused with Uday.
Yes, Uday think they gonna beat KU at home.
Yeah.
Good.
You like what I did there?
Yeah. That was good.
So whether it was Uday or Yesufu or MJ Rice, it's very clear that Bill Self got in all three of those guys here says, hey, you guys are the bench unit tonight. You're all we got. I don't want to play Michael Jankovic. Just go out and play hard. And their effort and energy level was noticeably different than what it has been.
Not everything is correlation equals causation. We understand that, right? Two things can be true. I can be tall and I can also be big,
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be mutually, together. So do you agree with this? DeJuan Harris is 10 times better the player at home than he is on the road, because we have a lot of evidence that says he stinks on the road. How much do you buy into that? Is that true that DeJuan Harris at home just feels way more comfortable, knows the rims, shoots it better? Or are we just saying he had a couple bad games that just so happened to be
on the road
in Manhattan, at Iowa State,
in Ames, yeah.
All back to back?
Yeah, I think that there's some truth to the idea that, and I've been saying this all season long on 580 Sports Talk, that your complementary guys on your team, like your stars are good anywhere, right? Like Jalen Wilson's game travels. For K-State, Keontae Johnson's game travels. Marquise Noel's games travel. Like Noel at 36-9 at Austin. Your best players are going to be your best players any gym you walk into. Home, away, neutral site, doesn't matter. Your secondary guys, your complementary guys, yeah, there's a comfort level to being at home, to, whether it's, the opposing crowd's not getting on you, or you just like sleeping in your own bed that much. Different for every guy. But yeah, your complementary players are generally going to be better at home. The thing that's weird about it from KU's standpoint is that Harris, and I would say this has been true about Kevin McCullough to this point as well, that he's played a lot better at Allen Fieldhouse than not. But those are veteran players who played in the league. Like, I would expect it out of a freshman. Like, if Grady Dick were lighting it up at Allen Fieldhouse, but he was shooting like 28% from three on the road, it'd be like, well, yeah, there's a comfort level thing there for a freshman. I understand that, especially one that gets as much grief from opposing student sections as old Grady Dick. That would make a certain amount of sense. But your veterans should be better on the road, and I think will be here down the stretch. I don't know. My hypothesis is that veteran players will find that comfort level and find that level of consistency after a while.
He's got two big ones coming up.
Yeah.
Both in the Sooner State. Oklahoma State next two games for KU. They got to win them both if they want to win the league. You can't lose those games if you want to win the league.
Oklahoma just got ragdolled by West Virginia in Morgantown. Oklahoma seems like,
but West Virginia does that. It's kind of like not to the level of Hilton.
Well, West Virginia's they're just playing better.
Yeah,
they're playing better ball lately.
Correct.
So is Oklahoma State. Kind of like that Oklahoma State team. I haven't really liked Mike Boynton's teams for the most part, but I kind of like this one. Caleb Boone's becoming a bit of a star in the league, kind of under the radar, and they play you tough. That's the thing about this. I think it was Jay Billis who said it on the broadcast last night. every night in the Big 12, you're either running into a great team or a desperate team. And usually you run into that desperate team there on their home floor. And it is hard to beat a hungry, desperate team playing at home in this league.
Called Kansas.
Kansas was that team last night.
Different set of circumstances. They're not like West Virginia trying to make the tournament, but you had to win that game if you wanted to go. So now, K-State, TCU tonight. Here's why I think this is kind of a desperate game for K-State. If they lose this game, they will have lost 4 straight Big 12 games.
Yeah.
It is at home.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of, let's be honest, you choked one away against Texas.
Should have beaten Texas.
You should have beat them. Low key, this is kind of a big game. I almost want to say this, and some people are going to say, well, if you look at the odds makers don't think K-State has a chance at winning the Big 12 right now. They're like plus 900 still, which is incredible because they're just 2 games back. If you win tonight, you are a game back. You are a single game back, and you only have to play 2 ranked teams the rest of the way, and both of them are at home. K-State's got the easiest schedule out of anybody the rest of the Big 12. That's why this game is so big. If you win this one, you still got a puncher's chance.
And you're catching TCU without Mike Miles and maybe without Eddie Lampkin. He's kind of been a game time decision. He played a week ago, didn't play on Saturday. We'll see if Lampkin goes and what capacity he's at, because Lampkin at 100%, he should feast. Like he
did last time.
Yeah, he did.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah. But
we were very pro Eddie Lampkin for TCU.
If he's not 100%, that changes the dynamic. And them not having Miles changes their dynamic. I don't think it's an accident. K-State's a 4.5-point favorite, and they are cast in the role tonight of desperate team, trying to avoid that losing streak. And we talked about it yesterday on 580 Sports Talk. There are losses as a coach you can sit with because you got out executed or you just ran into a better team. But when you get out toughed, that just irks coaches, and they get that message through their players' heads that had better never happen again. And that definitely not going to happen to K-State, I don't think, in back-to-back games. So they will not be out tough tonight. I think they will put more of a premium on taking care of the basketball tonight, and I think they will be a Mike Miles-less TCU.
Real quick, have either of you looked at the line tonight? Don't look. Have you looked?
I have. I just saw it.
Okay, then I have not. So I'm going to say K-State by 3.5.
4.5.
4.5. Okay. That sounds about right.
It does. And if there's no Eddie Lampkin, then you combine that with no Mike Miles, K-State, I think they cover easy. Like,
you know what that tells me? Yola podium game.
Bebe podium game?
I don't know if I could.
Your complimentary guys play better at home.
And they do. And
not
that's,
that guy.
And that's always my thing for K-State.
You're not that guy.
That's always my thing for K-State, and I've talked about it. You know what you're going to get out of Marquise Newell and Keontae Johnson. That is just nearly a certainty. More likely than not what they're going to produce. It's finding either a consistent third guy or just a rotating third guy. And if there's no real interior presence for, like, I think I'm not going to make Jake's comment of a Bebe Ishiola podium game, but, I like to see Naquan Tomlin be able to step it up, play more consistently. I love Naquan Tomlin's game. I truly do.
He's a ceiling raiser for K-State. When he plays well, they can be really good.
When he plays well, they are really hard to beat because he gives you a versatile player.
The problem is
at the 5.
Problem is he's not a real good shooter. And
Correct.
When you ask him to have to bang, I think that makes him less effective on the offensive end. And he's just not there as a shooter yet. Like if he's not shy, which is good. Like he's confident, but he's only shooting like 25% from deep. And
it's not a refined
It might be lower than that. Like if he ever gets to the point where he hits, if Evie's even 33% on that corner 3 and you have to guard him like 20 feet out at that size, like he can be a really, really good coach.
The old adage, hey, Jake, there's a reason you're open at 3, okay? There's a reason you're open, okay? Naquan, there's a reason they're not really coming out on you, okay? I think Lampkin will play. I think if he didn't play Saturday, I think maybe that was set up for this to try to get him healthy for this game because of how important he is in this game. So I think Lampkin will play, and I think it'll come down to the end. Let's get to the game on Sunday. Dan, I've asked this to everyone that we've talked to thus far. Most important side of the ball for for either team? You got Chiefs offense, defense, or you've got Eagles offense or defense? What's the most important side of the ball?
I think it's the Eagles defense in the sense that
Eagles defense.
I think it is the Eagles defense. If they can make it hard for the Chiefs to put points on the board, they get sacks, they get stops in the red zone. The misconception about the Eagles is not that they don't have a great running game, but that's like their bread and butter, their building block. They throw it a lot in the first half of games. Like almost 2/3 of the time, they're throwing the ball in the first half. They run to keep a lead. They run not to set a tone or establish their offense. They run to put games away. And the teams they played this year, the 31st ranked strength of schedule in the NFL, they've been able to salt games away with their running game in the second half. So it's the Eagles defense has to slow down the Chiefs to put their offense in position to do what it does best in the second half. So that defense for me, it's the Eagles defense. They have to set a tone and they have to keep the Chiefs off the board early, and they have to let the Eagles develop a lead. Like if the Eagles are 7-10 points ahead at any point in this game, it's going to be really, really hard for the Chiefs in the second half to come back. But if it's a scenario where the teams are trading scores or the Chiefs throw that first punch and they get out to maybe a 7-10 point lead, then the Eagles are going to have to do things they don't necessarily want to do. They're going to be in situations that are a little bit more uncomfortable for their offense. And then the game becomes about which quarterback is going to make more plays. I know who my money's on. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts. But if this is a game about quarterbacks, I know who I'm betting on. So it's the Eagles defense for me. They have to create turnovers. They have to create pressure. They have to decisively win and make sure Mahomes doesn't beat them, essentially, and put themselves behind an 8 ball so they can't play the game they really want to play.
Do you think their pass rush is as good as advertised, or they play crap offenses all year and bad quarterbacks?
Yes. Can I say yes to both?
Because they're both. Now, those are mutually intertwined. I mean, if you look at it, like Daniel Jones, I don't think Daniel Jones is very good. I hope the Giants pay him a whole bunch of money, and then I will laugh hysterically. But look at who they've played. Like, honestly, the best quarterback they faced is Dak Prescott. Turnover Dak Prescott. And when he didn't turn it over, they hung 40 on him.
The thing with the Eagles pass rush, and I think this is just a good lens to view it in, is they do a better job than average at generating some level of negative plays on early downs. So then they can try and put you into real bad pass rushing spots on third down.
Mm-hmm.
And against really bad teams, that gets even more exacerbated.
And they've got a bunch of guys. They got 4 double-digit sack guys. One of them, Javon Hargrave, is up the middle. They got Hassan Reddick coming off the edge playing tremendous football in these playoffs.
That's the only one that I am truly worried about, because Andrew Wiley's going to be there on an island, and Andrew Wiley is serviceable for who he is.
Mm-hmm. And he's a better player now than he was 2 years ago when he was bad in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So but asking him to block one of the best speed rushers in the NFL is difficult.
That's why I think chipping him and helping out, I think they're going to scheme for that.
And I have a hypothesis that the Chiefs are going to use that Eagle speed and aggressiveness. I think they're going to use that against them. I think the screen game is going to be a big part of the Chiefs offense. And I think Kadarius Toney on the perimeter, he says he's good to go. I think Kadarius Toney on jet sweeps on the perimeter is going to be a part of the offense.
Says he's good to go. I'll need to see it, because we all went before McCole Hardman went down, right? They ran that one jet sweep. My man was not healthy at all. Like, they ran that, and that was the most timid jet sweep I've ever seen McCole Hardman run. Yeah. If that's what Toney looks like, and Toney doesn't, I mean, he's so quick that he rolled he juked his ankle, and his foot like that. he planted so hard that
he can sometimes be a victim of his own explosion athleticism. And no, I would predict like this. If I am Kansas City, a good chunk of this game plan, this game script offensively is very similar to the 49ers, because that was a pass rush built on those 4 dudes loved getting upfield. This Eagles defensive line and all the guys that play up front love getting upfield. The Chiefs neutralized that defense on San Francisco so well because of things like, Dan, you've noted, screens, jet sweeps,
and
just use the aggressiveness.
That was the
them.
big Hardman game. There were a lot of good screens, and Mahomes threw for 423 on those boys, and that is the most similar defense I think that the Chiefs have faced.
With the sack aspect of it, It's the same thing, but flip side. When the Eagles get a lead, they run it, and if you're trailing, what do you got to do? You got to throw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if it's a tie game, I think that pass rush is not going to be as good if the Chiefs are, if it's 17-17 or 21-17, and they know, hey, I still think the Chiefs are going to try to run this. I think the Chiefs are going to try to run the football today.
They should.
I think they're going to use a lot of 3 tight end looks.
I think there will be some trying to establish that. They're better when they have multiple dimensions in their offense. I have been unable to shake the feeling for about a week now that this is going to feel a lot like Super Bowl 54. This is going to feel like the one the Chiefs won against the 49ers. Similar opponent, similar quarterback matchup where like Garoppolo's the dude who just had all the talent around him, didn't mess it up, took care of the ball, didn't mess it up. But that game was tight in the fourth quarter, and 15 made a play, and Jimmy Garoppolo could not match that. I feel like we're going to see a very similar game.
Who makes the play though? And I'm not talking about 15. 15 throws it.
Yeah.
Who catches it? Because you ain't got 10 out there.
Okay, so that's fine. You can't run jet ship wasp with somebody else. That's okay, but it'll be somebody else. It'll be Kelsey, or it'll be MVS, or it'll be Justin Watson, or it'll be Jody Ford. It'll be because Mahomes is so good now and has gotten better this year. He trusts all those guys. He can find anybody. Like it was MVS who made the big play in the end zone to put the Chiefs ahead in the AFC Championship game. So I don't think it matters. I think that it will be a tight game into the fourth quarter, and the separation will be Mahomes will make the play that Hurts will not be able to make.
Okay, we're doing prop bets every single day. And we're going to lead them up all the way to Friday, and then we're going to put them all together.
Okay.
All right. Give me. You can do this football wise because we'll do like fun stuff on like Friday. So football wise, give me a prop bet. Football wise,
prop bet
like over under so and so yards, or rushing attempts, or the first half spread, or what I mean, just like a football aspect, not like the coin toss.
Right.
What Rihanna's going to sing first.
Isaiah Pacheco over 1.5 receptions.
Is that the number 1.5?
I don't know that is the exact number. I think that is the number. His yardage prop, when I looked at it yesterday, was 15.5. So you can go over 15.5 for Pacheco receiving yards.
Receiving yards? You like Pacheco? Okay.
I think the backs, both him and McKinnon, I think are going to be factors in the passing game.
All right. I'm on board with that. Dan, we appreciate the time. Have fun this evening when you head to the Octagon of Doom.
Will do. Look forward to posting a reaction video live on Twitter and on our YouTube account. And we'll talk all about that tomorrow. And we'll preview it on 580 Sports Talk this afternoon from 3 to 6.
Receiving props. I'm going to try to find that here. Isaiah Pacheco. Can't have before we run out of time. We're going to hear from Andy Reid coming up next. This Tuesday, Jake Fulton along with Fulton Caster with you. We appreciate you joining us. Hit us up on our Big O Tires text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. We got Everyone Loves the List, worst guys that you want to avoid at your Super Bowl party. I'm also in a conundrum with a Super Bowl party.
Now, are you being forced to have one?
No, not have one.
Go to one?
Go to one. Not forced. Because my wife's amazing. She knows.
She's pretty great.
She knows what's going down.
Yeah.
She goes, there's someone who asked us to go to a Super Bowl get together. And I said, okay. She goes, do you want to go? And I said, I don't know. She goes, I understand. She goes, I can take the kids, you can watch it here, but I don't want to watch it like alone.
Man, you and me different, man. I've watched many a game alone.
So
I will not be watching this one alone, but I
can't watch it. I can't watch it because it's weird now because my wife loves sports. Like she loves sports. And so we always watch together. So I don't know if I want to be alone, but yet, the last time I went to a get together to watch the Chiefs, we watched the first half at our house because our kids were sleeping. They woke up. We left and went to someone else's house. Look what happened. Chiefs Bengals.
I don't know what game. I don't know what you're referencing.
Yeah. So
that's fair.
I was like, I don't know yet. I don't know. But my wife totally gets it. She's like, I understand. It's, you got to watch it. You take notes, all that kind of stuff. You like listening. It's not just watching.
Yeah.
It's so she knows.
It's
so
great that you married someone that gets the parts around it.
Yeah.
It's not just a game.
So what's funny is today my wife sent me a text and goes, thoughts on the Super Bowl. Well, I thought she wanted my thoughts on the Super Bowl. So I sent her my thoughts on the Super Bowl. I was like, I think the Chiefs win. I like the Chiefs. Jake. I think the Eagles defense hasn't seen a whole lot.
Buddy.
I think the Chiefs run defense is going to be the big question. And she responded with a gif of laughing. And I was like, I'm being serious. And she goes, I know. I was more referring to what are we going to do? Do you want to go to the Super Bowl party? And I was like, oh, yeah. So,
buddy.
No, my wife is the absolute best, like the absolute best. And so that's why it's pretty fun. But we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk with Matt Derrick as the Chiefs just spoke. And in fact, we're going to hear from Andy Reid. Here's what Big Red had to say to the media today.
Coach, Legarius told us last night he had cleared the concussion protocol. How is he feeling at this point, and how important is it to have him back in the secondary?
Yeah, it's great to have him back. He did get out of the protocol there and pass it and is doing well.
Andy, we all remember the last time you were in the Super Bowl. You didn't have most of your starting offensive line, but that was obviously what dictated the game with Patrick running for like 500 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Can you just revisit that offseason, how you rebuilt it to these 4 new starters that you have, and how important that rebuilding of the offensive line has been to you getting here now?
Yeah, so the offensive line has done a nice job. We actually have a couple of the guys still remaining from, that team. And then we've added a few in. Brett Veach made that one of his projects after that Super Bowl and did a nice job of bringing in the new guys. They fit in well and done well.
And then obviously with Super Bowl events, when I get 2 weeks between the game, but with the momentum you guys have had, do you feel like you'd like to just play 1 week after the championship game, keep the momentum going?
No, I mean, I think it's good to get the rest in, heal the guys up that were banged up a little bit. And then there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of prep, this type of thing, and the tickets and all of that stuff that the guys have to deal with. So taking a couple of days to get that knocked out, I think is a good thing. And then you're able to prep and get yourself going and try to put out the best product you can.
Coach, you mentioned some of the players that practiced yesterday. Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, how they look so far, and then what are you anticipating for them leading up to this game? Yeah,
they practiced yesterday. They'll go again today. They look good, and then we'll see how it goes the rest of the week. I mean, this is today will be an easy day, and then we've got three days that are a little tougher. We'll just see where they're at. Yesterday we were able to put the pads on and go in pads and get some work done there. The guys hadn't had them on for a week, so.
Hey, Coach, can you put into words what Isaiah Pacheco has meant to this team? Maybe not even just from an on-the-field standpoint, but his young energy, attitude on what's primarily a veteran team, what he's brought to you guys?
Yeah, I tell you that, what you just said. He's got a tremendous amount of energy, loves to play the game. He's smart. We asked the running backs to do quite a bit in the run game and the pass game and protections. So he has handled all that, done it well. But most of all, he is that energizer bunny guy. I mean, he's got endless energy, and you see it when he's on the field playing. You see it at practice. That's who he is.
Hey, Andy. With regarding Clyde, you expecting him to be up Sunday, and if so, what are your expectations for him if he does have to play?
Yeah, we'll practice him this week and just see where we're at. Jones has done a good job for us too, so we'll just see how that all works out. But it's good to have him back for sure.
Coach, with Mahomes, I know he battled through the high ankle in the AFC title. Looked pretty good. Pulled up the one time. What has the training staff meant for his recovery, and how close is he to 100% now?
Yeah, so I wouldn't tell you he's 100%, but the training staff works with him endlessly. I guess it'd be a tribute to both of them for Pat coming back for more and for those guys cranking on him. So Julie spent most of the time with him, rehabbing him, and we've got all the latest, greatest stuff to use technology-wise. So he's used it all and has been able to make these jumps here where he can actually function and play in a game, which is pretty remarkable.
Back to your Eagles connection, can you appreciate the irony that it's the Eagles that are standing in the way of this team getting another Super Bowl win?
Yeah, I mean, I guess initially you feel that or sense that or see it, you're living it. I think it's a great thing for the Eagles. I think it's great for the Chiefs to be in this position. Once you get through all that, now it's the teams playing each other, and it doesn't really matter the uniform. Once the game gets going, it's football. Who's got the better team, better players, better coaches, and who gets a break here or there. All those things that normally happen in a football game takes place. So you kind of blank all the other stuff out. Not too worried about that. You don't let it get in the way of your preparation. You try to maximize your preparation as you go forward here. So, yeah, but initially, I mean, that's quite a deal. It's a great storyline for you guys, and I mean, with the Kelsey brothers, they'll give you more. So,
Coach Spag shared with us that he journals and has kept notes of the things that he's experienced through these Super Bowls, and he's been reflecting more on almost the mistakes he's made, the things that he did wrong during Super Bowl week. For you, is there any one thing that you perhaps did wrong in the years past that maybe you want to do different, whether that means you individually or as a team?
Yeah, so I really do that every game, and not that I share it here, but I mean, I would tell you that every game you're very self-critical, and you try to make sure that you don't repeat the same mistakes twice, especially in this business. You get fired real quick if you're doing that. So, I mean, it's no different for the Super Bowl games. Yeah, there are things you come out and you probably wish you could have done better. Even the one, the one that we won, there were things I felt, you know what, we could do this better than we did. But I can give you one for your thing. We can't have as many penalties we did the last one. So that's for sure.
Andy, you've relied heavily this year on rookie DBs. You have, of course, Cook as a safety, also the three corners who have played more and more as the year's gone on. What have you seen in their progression that's allowed them to be as confident as they've been and as quickly as they've been?
Yeah, well, they're willing guys to try things. It's one thing when you have a player that you're coaching and he tries it in practice, he's not willing to try it in a game. So these guys are very gifted athletes, very talented to start with. And then what you're just trying to do as a coach is give them one more thing to make them greater than what they are, or potentially greater than what they are with the young guys. So these kids have been willing to listen to David and Donald and what they're teaching, Spags, and learning his.
Of your wide receiving core with Marquez, Juju, and Sky Moore,
Yeah, you bet.
and other guys.
Yeah. So listen, nobody's happier for Tyreek than I am. I mean, he made a lot of money and he gained a lot of yards. He had a great year. So Pro Bowl player, all pro player. But on the other hand, I'm proud of our guys for the job that they've done. We had a lot of new faces in there. With the exception of McCole, most of the guys were new guys. And I thought they stepped up. I was really proud of the way Pat and Kels brought the guys into the mix and welcomed them in and then worked with them and helped teach them. And so and listen, Pat Mahomes is a pretty good quarterback. So we didn't lose Pat Mahomes. That was a good thing. He makes those guys look good in a lot of ways, and they help make him look good too. So it's a good relationship.
Last season, right before you played Philadelphia in the regular season, you had a little bit of a health scare, but you always mentioned over and over how the players kind of help you through that. How the youthful exuberance of the players that you have now, especially a guy like Patrick and some of the other guys, helped you to get to a point where you're still, wanting to coach for the next maybe 4 or 5 years down the road?
Yeah. Well, that and the doctors, they help, but those guys, their support was great. I mean, the players' support. They just told me to get my butt off the ground and keep moving. Kind of threw back what I throw at them. But they've been great that way. They were great during that time. At that moment, they were great. And then the doctors, my hat goes off to those guys for the work that they do.
Andy, Clark was telling stories this morning about that 9-hour meeting you had with him at the Philly airport before you were hired. Was wondering what your recollections were of that meeting, and were you ever tempted to tell him, "Hey, I got this plane waiting for me outside. I need to go"?
Yeah, that was that was a long day, and I remember it fairly well. And he brought the whole organization with him, I felt like, and so I had a chance to meet everybody. The time flew by. I felt bad about the plane, though. I mean, that was waiting. I did feel bad about that, but I know everybody involved knows that's part of the business. And things have worked out well for the other teams.
We're gonna do three more. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna go to this young lady here, and we're gonna finish with this gentleman.
Andy Becker.
I'm lost. Where is it back here? There you
go. Around this time last year, you guys brought Matt Nagy back. Why was it important for you to do that, and how have you seen his relationship with Patrick grow this year?
Yeah, so Matt knew him before he left, had him for the year, and I knew they had a good relationship then. I felt that was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, he's a great coach, and so bringing him back on staff would just keep us moving in the right direction, keep Pat moving in the right direction, and it's done that. He's been great with Pat, and at the same time, it's tough when you're a head coach and you get released. I mean, he was coach of the year just a couple of years ago, and then ends up things didn't work out and ends up being released. So it's good to knock some of that NFL scar tissue off your head and get going again. So he's been able to do that. He's in a great place. I'm sure somewhere down the road here, he's going to get another opportunity. He's a fine football coach. Yeah.
By far, this is the biggest game in the world. How do you keep your players focused and composed during this time and keep them focused on the game and not getting taken away from them?
Yeah. So you worry about that with some of the young guys. The older guys, I've got enough of them here that have been through it. They understand, and I'm banking on them sharing their experience with the young guys. The team's been very focused all year to get where we are now. You've got to stay focused. There are a lot of ups and downs in the National Football League to put a record together like we did. You've obviously had more ups than the downs, but within that, it takes tremendous focus every week to be ready to go. I mean, the parity in this league is ridiculous right now. And so you've got to have some mental toughness and the ability to focus in if you're going to end up where we're sitting here.
Head coach Andy Reid meeting with the media today. We'll hear from Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes coming up in the 2:00 hour. Coming up at 1:35, a little after the bottom of the hour, Matt Derrick, our Herman's Mean Smokehouse Chiefs insider, will get to us kind of all encompassing Monday night, opening night, plus media availability today. We'll get to that coming up. But next, who's the worst guy at the Super Bowl party? We'll get to that for Everyone Loves the List. loves the list. Worst guy at the Super Bowl party.
If we somehow call you out in this.
Good.
Yeah, I was going to try and be honest, but no. Then change your ways and don't be one of these people. All offense is meant if you feel like you're one of these people. All offense is meant. At least for me personally.
Yes.
Number 4 on my list is just a simple, very basic one. No one likes a complainer. I don't care what it is about while you're at the event. I don't need you complaining about something here. Whether it's the food, the seating arrangements, the TV, what you're seeing on the TV. I don't care. Do not complain. No one likes a complainer. That fits for everything. But particularly at my Super Bowl event because I am here to watch a dang game.
Number 4 for me, the over-explainer.
Hate them so much with a burning passion.
Yeah, I don't need you to explain to me I just, short, sweet. Oh, good play, bad play.
Yeah.
The over-explainer.
I don't need you to quarterback this from the couch here and explain to me what coverage is being rolled.
Yeah, because you're probably wrong, to be honest with you.
Honestly, yes. Number 3 for me, a subset of a complainer. Don't be a commercial critiquer. Yes, we watch the Super Bowl, and some people watch it for the commercials. Yes, some of them are good. Some of them are bad. I don't need your hot take marketing explanation of why the commercial is bad.
That one doesn't bother me as much.
I do not need your, much like I don't need armchair footballing, I don't need armchair marketing.
The complainer is number 3 for me.
Horrid.
More so about the refs.
Yeah, that's fair.
The guy who's like, that's a hold. No, it's not a hold. Complainer about the refs.
Yeah.
It's Carl Cheffers. We're going to get screwed.
Fair. Number 2 for me, kind of go along with the idea of an over-explainer, just a general know-it-all. I don't need you giving me your thesis on football while we're watching a football game.
What if they ask you?
If they politely ask, if you have asked if I want to be a part of a conversation like that, then you have permission to have those conversations. Do not unprompted bring it up to me your thoughts on a cover 3 defense or when's the right time to bring a blitz.
Gotcha. I'm with you there.
But if you want to engage, you want to ask my permission and consent to engage in that, then I've consented. We can have this conversation.
Yeah. Number 2 for me is the individual who walks around, doesn't sit, known as the mover, the seat stealer.
Yeah.
Don't be doing that, man. Either get there early and get your seat, otherwise quit moving around.
That's
Just
fair.
sit. He won't sit.
Number 1 for me, I've labeled this the game distractor, but just anyone who, as the progress is going, is peppering you with things that don't matter. Like, they're asking for your opinion on random things when it's like, there is a game going on and play is happening. We can have side conversations during the break.
That's my number 1, too. I label that the guy who talks too much.
Yes.
Just shut up.
I am
and
here to watch the game.
Be like, oh, yeah, that's a great play. Like the over-exaggerating high five guy. I love that guy. I like watching teams who are interested in it.
Yes.
But the guy who talks too much. Don't care about your Thursday afternoon.
No, I do not as well.
Coming up next, Matt Derrick joins us. it to the deserts down in Phoenix, Arizona for our Herman's Meat and Smokehouse Chiefs Insider. We go to the boots on the ground. Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick, and this is the perfect time to follow Matt on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Matt, how is Phoenix, Glendale, wherever you're at?
I am in Scottsdale right now, and as a matter of fact, I am lost in Scottsdale. Not completely. I'm close to where I need to be, but I was hoping to be poolside talking to you. So, hey, it could be better, it could be worse.
I hear like every house in Arizona has a pool. Is that kind of accurate?
It seems like it. So far, I for an area that has a water drought and water crisis and everything, there is a lot of water around here, and a lot of golf courses, and of course, Chiefs are staying at a golf course. So,
what golf course are they staying at?
They got I think they got a pool and a pond over there.
Do you know what golf course they're staying at?
They are staying at Gaining Ranch. So the headquarters is the Hyatt there. So it's quite the little facility. And if you're thinking of coming out, don't, because the security has it pretty well bunkered in.
All righty, Matt. I like opening night. A lot of people don't. Dan and
You're the one.
and Fulton. Yes, I'm the one. Because for one night you can ask stupid questions and I'm okay with it. If you ask stupid questions today, which some of them did, they need to be booted out because now it's actually about football. But I got no problem for one evening. Let's talk, about random stuff. And I learned a lot about the Chiefs and the Eagles yesterday. What did you learn yesterday that is kind of off the football field in your mind when somebody asked one of the Chiefs or Eagles players a question?
Well, I guess I'm in the minority then, because I already knew that Andy Reid liked cheeseburgers and Chileno burritos. So, and the funny thing is, I was actually this morning, I didn't get a chance to get over to George Karloftis yesterday. So I asked him today, how many times has he been asked about his water polo career this week? And he said a lot. So I'll admit, yesterday I zigged where everybody else zagged. So I had some, nice conversations with some guys behind the scenes that we don't normally get to talk to, because, for instance, Mike Frazier, who's the stats guy, the guy behind the scenes and analytics and everything. This is the first time in 4 years we've gotten a chance to talk to Mike Frazier, because the last time was at Super Bowl 54. And I had a chance to talk with David Girardi, who, assistant quarterbacks coach, who Patrick Mahomes has given a lot of credit behind the scenes as being a guy that really pushes him. So, that to me is at least the real goal from this event. I mean, as much as last night was total nonsense, and it's not the questions that bother me as much, it's more of the fact that the NFL has insisted on squeezing every last dollar they can from everything. So they sold tickets to this thing, and there's, music, and, it's hard to have a press conference or, talking to players and interviewing them when there's all that going on.
This is why you're the best, Matt, because you went and you talked to the analytics guy. You went and you talked to the assistant quarterback coach. That is why you are the best, my friend. Did either one of them have to say, did you ask the Mike Frazier, the stats guy, why can't they figure it out how to convert on 3rd and 1?
We didn't get to talk about that. That was going to be for later in the week. I did talk to him quite a bit about 4th down conversions and having him try to explain to me, whether I should or should not hate the automated 4th down bot on Twitter. And Mike is very retrospect, so he wasn't going to say anything too controversial. But the amazing thing is, getting to find out just how much the Chiefs have been staffing up their analytics department. They continue to expand it. They brought in a guy, that won like the Super Bowl of data that the NFL had a few years ago. It's something that they continue to invest in, and Andy is clearly listening to the analytics department more and more as the older he gets.
Huh. What about the assistant quarterback coach? What has he done with Mahomes?
That was one of the things back in training camp. I had asked Patrick, about what he likes in a coach, and he said, that he likes people that push him. And so this is one of the reasons why he loves Andy Reid and he loves Eric Bieniemy. And so I asked him, who else pushes him the most? And he said, absolutely, no doubt. I mean, David Girardi. And this is a guy who's a rising star. I mean, he was, a football player at Geneva College, was a graduate assistant. And then he hooked up with Mike Kafka at Northwestern and, got to know Mike. And then Mike recommended him for a job. Next thing you know, he's working with Mike Kafka at Kansas City. He's had a pretty meteoric ride. He's still a young guy in his 20s. This is a guy that, especially because of the position he has, remember who has been assistant quarterbacks coach for the Chiefs. It's been Matt Nagy. It's been Mike Kafka. These are the guys that are coming up through the ranks. He's probably the next guy that if you're talking about who's going to be an offensive coordinator or a head coach in the next 5 to 10 years, Girardi's probably on the list.
We're talking with Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com here in our Herman's Meat and Smokehouse Chiefs Insider. All right, today you had a chance. We already heard from head coach Andy Reid a little bit ago. Didn't really say a whole lot except for L'Jarius Sneed, healthy. He passed concussion protocol. Same thing. Tony's going to practice. So it kind of sounds like the guys that you're hoping for are going to play. What about Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah, and Andy addressed it at least both with him and Kadarius and grouping them together and saying, that they both looked good yesterday. They did get out for a brief practice yesterday, put the pads on for the first time in a week. So it wasn't an intense workout, but they got some work done, and he said everybody practiced, and those two guys were included in that. The real test is going to come tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first real practice of the week. It's a little bit more intense workout. But the fact that both those guys, especially Juju, to me, is working right now, that is that's a great sign because I wasn't sure, this time a week ago that, we would be here yet. He might still be limited, and maybe he will be. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm sure they'll try to ease him into it if they can. But definitely a good sign for all those guys.
Do you think we'll get the Tony who can cut and move, or are we getting a watered down Tony? Because if it's a watered down Kadarius Toney, I don't even know if it's worth it out there.
I don't think you'll get the watered down Kadarius Toney, but my guess is that you're going to get, and this is not a knock on Toney. I think it's just the state of the injuries and his season and how it's gone. I think you're going to get maybe a 2012 Maserati. I think he'll still be able to move. I mean, I think he's going to be able to accelerate. I think he'll be doing plenty of those things. Question is just going to be how many snaps before he ends up in the garage. That's my only concern. I mean, I think he can do it. I think he can go, and there's no tomorrow. I mean, these guys, all of them, will sacrifice tomorrow for today. So I would expect him to be up and give it a go. But to me, it's how much can you get out of him?
I've asked this to everybody that we've talked to, and we'll continue. There are 4 sides of the ball: Chiefs offense, Eagles offense, Chiefs defense, Eagles defense. Which one of those 4 do you think will be the determining factor in this game?
Ooh, interesting question to put it that way. Because I think when you phrase it that way, I think a lot of this game is going to go on the Eagles defense. I mean, I think it's going to come down to, the Chiefs offense and the Eagles defense. That's going to be deciding the game. If Chiefs offense is a good day, I think they'll be fine. It's just, whether or not the Eagles are up for the challenge. So I think it's on them. I mean, that's to me the catch. If I don't know how good the Eagles defense really is, because I think it's been a while since they've really faced a tough opponent that's fully stocked, that's at full speed. I'm just not sure they've been tested in a while. And they've put up great numbers in a lot of categories. They get after the quarterback. They can stop the run. They're good at a lot of things. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're bad at anything. I mean, they're kind of a master of all trades. I'm just curious to see if they're ready for this, because I don't know if there's another team on the schedule that you can say is as explosive offensively as the Chiefs are. So to me, I think the Eagles defense rather, I think is the one that's going to determine the state of this game the most.
Chiefs fans deal with a lot of scar tissue, and I think a lot of fans do in general. But the scar tissue that remains for the Chiefs is the Super Bowl loss to the Bucs. Everybody went into that going, I think our offensive line can hold up. I think they can. I mean, we've had 4 offensive linemen for the last couple of weeks. Maybe, we just move Remmers over to the left side and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Narrator, they weren't fine. Is there something like that in this game? Is it this youthful secondary? Now Snead coming back helps. Is it the O-line of the Chiefs? Is it the D-line of the Chiefs? Hey, we got all this pressure on Joe Burrow, but they couldn't do it against a good offensive line because the Bengals offensive line was Swiss cheese. Well, now you got an Eagles offensive line that is excellent, and they're going to get no pressure, and we can't stop. Like, where's the the O-line of the Super Bowl versus the Bucks, where we think it's gonna be okay, but maybe it is a disaster.
Yeah, and that's a great thought, because I mean, I looking back on that Tampa Bay Super Bowl, I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, there was a lot of rationalization by a lot of it that to put the Chiefs in that game by saying, yeah, the offensive line can hold up. I mean, but honestly, I mean, that offensive line in retrospect was flawed even before it got banged up. I mean, it was basically Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, and you kind of hope for the best in the middle. And then when those guys go down, I mean, you really didn't have any spot that you felt comfortable with. I mean, even Andrew Wiley will tell you today he was a guard playing tackle in that game. So that to me is, where are we rationalizing that the Chiefs are good? Because they're fully healthy. I mean, that shouldn't be an issue. This shouldn't be a spot where you're going to be able to say afterwards, well, they were banged up and that's why. It's which position group to me isn't as good as we think that it is. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I assuming that position group is on the defensive side. I have a hard time pointing at the defensive line because, they've had the numbers. They've done a good job this year. I don't think that they're necessarily the second best pass rush in the league, even if that's what the sacks say. I think there's something else. So maybe that's where we should go. I'm tossing between that and linebackers. I guess I'm talking myself into more and more. I say that if we're talking about rationalizing which group on the Chiefs is better than it actually is, it probably is defensive front. And I did say before the season starts that if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, we're talking about this defensive line getting the job done. And if we're talking about this falling short of expectations, it's because they couldn't get to the quarterback.
Chiefs offensive line, they held up great against the Bengals. I look at the Eagles front four, and I wonder if the way that the Eagles have done and gone this year, which is they get a lead early, and then they ground and pound, and they force you to throw, and then they can just head to the quarterback. The start of this game is going to be important. Do you think the Chiefs offensive line can hold up against their pass rush? And I'm more concerned about Hassan Reddick going up against Andrew Wiley. Do you think the Chiefs O-line can get it done?
I mean, I think they can. And, to me, a big part of it, that Bengals game, the championship game, I think showed obviously that the Chiefs can adapt if they need to getting rid of the ball quickly and doing things to slow down the pass rush. And I'll take what you're saying like a step further. I mean, I think there's legitimate points to be made that we talk about the vaunted Eagles pass rush, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, but how much of it is getting a lead and then putting teams in this third and longs and then pinning your ears back? I mean, you put teams into the passing situations, it's easier to get sacks, and that's probably one of the reasons the Chiefs pass rush had some success. I mean, you get a lead on the team and force them to throw, that's going to happen. I think the Chiefs can handle it. I mean, and part of it is absolutely slowing down the rush. And that's why not having McCole Hardman means you do need Kadarius Toney, because being able to put a guy like that in motion helps slow down their pass rush, getting rid of the ball quickly. There's a lot of things that the Chiefs can do. And I absolutely believe that Andy Reid's got some tricks up his sleeve that he's going to show these guys that they haven't seen before, that is just going to add to the mystery and put some doubt in those edge rushers and those pass rushers about how quickly can you get upfield before you get sucked into the Chiefs offense.
We're talking with Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com. It's our Herman's Meat Smokehouse Chiefs insider. All right, Mahomes' ankle, are we thinking he's going to be pretty good?
Yeah, I mean, I based on what we saw against Cincinnati and, getting a little bit of rest, I mean, this is a taxing week. I mean, hey, for no other reason. I mean, hey, I had to put on 12,000 steps yesterday. I walked 6.5 miles. Now, life isn't that tough for Patrick Mahomes, but there's still a lot of moving around, staying on your feet during Super Bowl week. So I think there's a decent amount of stress, but certainly with what Patrick has said about the ankle, is that not being as bad as previous ankle sprains that he's had. I think that this far removed from it, I don't think it's going to be a major factor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll be 100%, but is he going to let it limit him? No, because there's no tomorrow, and that the type of guy he is, I think that once the adrenaline gets going, I don't think it's going to affect him that much.
All righty. Do you have a favorite prop bet? Is there something out there? And you can go silly or you can go serious. We were doing a prop bet of the day where we go all the way up to Friday, one prop bet for each of us every single day. And we'll get a little bit more fun and goofy coming up on Thursday and Friday. But is there something that you like? Is it, a specific player to have a good game? The yards, attempts, passing, all of that.
Oh, if you're going to let me go silly, my favorite prop bet for the Super Bowl is and always will be the length of the national anthem over and under.
All righty. Well, we got Chris Stapleton, who's a baller. I like Chris Stapleton. He's good stuff. 206. What are we thinking?
206. That 206 is a long time. I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at his film, see what he's done.
He hasn't ever done it. I'm way ahead of you. He's like, people are having a hard time finding footage of him doing another anthem. This is truly a dark horse situation.
Man, that does make it tougher. Although I will say this once again, I think going to the adrenaline, if it's his first time going to all that, I know they pre-programmed this thing and everything, but I think that I gotta think that he's going to speed it up a little bit. I mean, 206. Yeah, I think I would take the under on that. Although, can you bet on it in Kansas? Because I was told that you can't bet on the coin flip in Kansas.
That's a great question. If I may add some thought here to our anthem discussion for both you, Matt and Jake. Chris Stapleton, as a country artist and his music, very slow paced a lot of times, a little drawn out.
Yep.
I think the over can be in play because when I've heard Chris perform in any way, that man slow plays it. I think, Matt, you make a good point about adrenaline, though, but I would take the over personally.
Well, and they always, I mean, and Super Bowl is different, but the word, the word is that you shouldn't go over 2 minutes in the national anthem. So if he's got a 2-minute national anthem in him, and you stretch out a couple of notes, I'm still going to go with adrenaline and think that he clocks it in a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. I need to look this up though to see if we can bet on the anthem. I don't know
if we can. I'm going to get real sad.
I don't know. All right.
Question is, will he be freaked out when all the Chiefs fans say Chiefs at the end?
That's true.
Fair.
That's true. We know there's a bunch of them there as we found out yesterday. All right, 2 for the road. Got about a minute left, Matt. All right, 1. Who wins? Give me your prediction.
I think the Chiefs get it done. I'm still thinking about the score, but the one that keeps popping in my head is something like 31-27. That might end up being where I lock it in, but I think the Chiefs get it done.
All righty. Who's your MVP?
Chiefs win. I don't think there's any doubt. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Hard to see anybody else getting it over him. I mean, maybe a Chris Jones has 3 sacks and gets it and takes it away, but it's always about the quarterback. So I think Patrick will get another one.
And let's say they win. The parade is what day? Wednesday?
It was Wednesday last time, right?
Yep.
I mean, I got to think that although if I am not mistaken, I believe there is like an open house event or something for the airport on Wednesday, which makes me wonder if they want to have 2 events like that on the same day. So maybe it gets moved around. I don't know. And I've been so busy, I haven't been able to check in with the rumors and talk about, what it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If I find out later this week, I'll let you guys know what the word on the street is.
Matt, you're the best.
Same to you guys. Great talking to you. Take care, everybody.
Matt Derrick, ChiefsDigest.com. Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake LeBon along with Fulton Caster. Let us know your thoughts, Chiefs fans, as we gear up for the big game coming up on Sunday. We will have Westwood One's coverage of the Super Bowl. We will not be airing the Chiefs Radio Network, but we will air the post game of the Chiefs Radio Network. And hopefully it will be a post game where it'll be a lot of fun. So we will air the game via Westwood One here on 580 WIBW, and we will do the post game of the Chiefs Radio Network. So that is what we will have coming up on Sunday. We've got our prop bet of the day coming up here in just a little bit, but we wanted to get to Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Wanted to hear from both the QB and the tight end. And here is what Patrick Mahomes had to say to the media today.
That we have had, and it took the quarterbacks before us to pave the way. And so for us to be in this moment on this stage and be able to show where we've come as a league, this would be just the start of it, just the beginning of it. And we want to make sure that we set the stage for future generations to come. The best in the league. That's a hard one, but I think Bobby Witt Jr. is coming for that crowd at some point.
Hey, Patrick, a couple quick questions for you. One about the ankle, of course. I know you're going to be fine. You're going to play, of course, but can you take us through what the rehab and recovery process will be this week?
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, you're in the treatment room as much as possible. You have to make sure you get your rehab in. You have to make sure you get the mobility right, everything like that. Luckily, you had an extra week, so that helps out a ton. But you still just try to get whatever you can to be close as you can to 100% by game day.
You've talked about that sort of healing from the loss from 2 years ago. What about yourself have you learned? What have you changed in preparation over those 2 years to get to this point?
Yeah, I think the best thing I've learned as a quarterback at the quarterback position is not trying to do too much. Just whenever stuff's not going your way, like the last game, the Bengals game, where I had that dumb fumble in the fourth quarter, just not letting those mistakes compound each other and just getting back to the game plan and whatever I can do to have a positive play and trusting in my teammates. That's something that I've learned over these last few years is that you can't do it all by yourself. It takes your teammates and the team around you.
What do you think about your legacy? How do you compartmentalize not worrying about legacy and going out and winning this game?
I'm still so early in my career. I mean, I feel like all I focus on is winning the day. How can I get better today to prepare myself for the end of the week and this game that we're playing in? And I've always thought if you go out there and handle business the right way and do what you do and you win football games, that stuff handles itself. And so I never really think about my legacy after football. That'll be something that I think about after I'm done playing. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was valuable of those guys getting up to speed fast and them having the ability to step right in and have success. But I think more than that, it was about building those relationships. That when times got tough, you have this built relationship with these guys that you can lean on. And so when everything's not perfect and everything's not going our way, we have a brotherhood and something that we can lean on to help us get through those times.
Speaking of brotherhood, Travis Kelce said that you guys were brothers last night. He and Jason. Are you close to Jason at all? Is there a relationship between you two guys at all?
Yeah, I've got to hang out with Jason multiple times now just because, like you said, me and Travis are like brothers, and I feel like his family is like one of my second families. And so I'm always, after every game, it's either he's at my house or I'm at his house, and we bring both friend groups together. And I remember my wedding and like the bachelor party and then my wedding day to see Travis like with my friends, you would have thought they grew up together. That's just, it goes both ways. I mean, like we've kind of joined each other's friend groups and kind of become brothers throughout our relationship on the football field. I mean, he's a special player, and obviously, I think people always saw his running ability, but the way he's able to develop as a passer, he can execute and take advantage of whatever's on the football field. And whenever you work that hard and you leave everything on the field every single time, the guys follow you. And I think that's the most special thing that not everybody has, is the ability to have people that are older than you that have put in the work as well follow you on that football field to whatever means necessary. And so he has a special ability to have guys that will follow him, and that's why he's in the position that he's in today.
I'm here for you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're playing a great defensive line, so we might need you back there, man. What's up, Mexico?
Patrick, how does your family play a role on the field for you when you play?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to have a great support system around me my entire life. And obviously my family is the biggest part of that, and the way they supported me and following my dreams and not just being a baseball player, not just being a basketball player, but to follow your dreams, whatever that is. And so them telling me to be the best me that I can be no matter what it is, that's helped me be in the position I'm in today.
How does your faith play a role in the field for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that my faith plays a role because I have no added pressure of trying to win, and that's all that my life means. I know that I'm in this position for a bigger picture at the end of the day, and so obviously I want to win and I want to go out there and have success on the football field. But I know that I have something I can always lean on, and a reason that I'm standing on that football field.
You've been here 3 times in 6 years. When you see Tom Brady's going away after so many years at his age, do you see yourself playing at that age in these same states, like 19 years or 18 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, it seems far away for sure, but you want to play as long as possible. What Tom has done, I don't know if that'll be matched the way that he's able to play to 45. And I mean, he's retiring, but I mean, he still had a very high level season that he played. He's just choosing to retire. And so the way he's able to take care of his body and prepare himself is unmatched. And so I just try to learn from guys like that and prolong my career as long as possible. And God willing, I stay healthy and I'm able to play until I'm ready to retire. And I can say I retired and my body didn't quit on me.
Patrick, when speaking of Tom, he gave you some advice. Can you share what that advice was?
I'm not going to share exactly what the advice was, but I mean, he always gives me the best advice because he's been here, man. He's been in every situation that you could be in the NFL, and he said obviously a lot of positives, but he's had to deal with some failures as well. And so to be able to learn from the greatest of all time at the quarterback position, I'm going to take that advice every single time.
Did you know that Peyton Manning offered Jalen Hurts some advice?
I didn't know that, man. I'm friends with Peyton as well, so I need to make sure that he gives me some advice as well. Yeah. I mean, obviously he's super talented and he's physically gifted. He's bigger than I think a lot of people understand, and how he's able to run routes with those physical routes in between. But I think what the biggest thing is the joy that he brings in the building every single day, and the work ethic. I mean, he is a guy that works his tail off when he's in the building, and he's kind of become one of those leaders in the receiving room. And it's cool to see, because other than McCole, we had all brand new receivers in that receiving room, and those guys have grown together and built a brotherhood that now they don't care who gets the catches, and you see that on the football field every week. It's a different guy that seems like they have a big game.
Hey, Patrick, you spoke obviously about standing on the shoulders of those who came before you as a black quarterback. When you were recruited coming out of high school, did you have any sense that you were being pigeonholed? I guess Texas recruited you as a defensive back. I don't know if it was for that reason, but did you have any sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily pigeonholed because of the race, but I just definitely I didn't have the normal quarterback background, or I played a lot of different sports. I started quarterback at a late time in my career. And so they didn't know exactly who I was at the quarterback position yet. And so I don't know if it was the race. I'm sure that could have played a part in it a little bit. But at the same time, I think it was just me growing up so differently than other guys, especially in the Texas high school football kind of mold.
And you still think you could have been a DB if you had to?
I don't think I could have been a DB because I don't like tackling people. So I would have been great at reading the quarterback's eyes and knowing the concepts. But I do not like tackling people. And even when I played DB, I had 5 or 6 interceptions, but I had 30 tackles in an 11-game season. So, I wasn't really filling the run gaps and everything like that. Yeah, no, I mean, I was extremely excited because I built such a great relationship with Nags that first year. And so obviously I was happy for him that he was able to go to Chicago and have some success and then have some failures, and he learned from those things. And so it's cool when you get a different mind that's been outside the organization for a little bit, and the coaching staff, because they have new ideas. And so we talk about stuff, and we have different concepts that we'll work into our game plan, because he's worked with them and had success with them, and then he's worked with some that haven't had success. So it's always great to get new coaches in the building, especially ones that you built relationships with. Yeah, my dad's he means the world to me, man. I mean, he set an example for me of how you have to go through this business. I mean, he dealt with a lot of positives, and he was in the MLB at an early age, but he also battled in the minor leagues for a long time, and he just kept following his dream, and he was able to make it to a World Series, and he played for I think 15 to 20 years of just baseball in general. And it showed me that no matter if you're not having success at that moment, if you continue to follow your dreams, you'll make it. And that's something that meant a lot to me growing up. Oh, it's one that I think everybody says, but he still says it to me this day, and he says players make plays. And that's all he ever says to me is, at the end of the day, players make plays. Yeah, I think you see that we're very aware, and we have no added pressure because we know who we are and what we're playing for. And so it's obviously we want to win, we want to have success. But at the end of the day, we know why we're stepping on that field, and it's for a much, much bigger reason.
That is what Patrick Mahomes had to say to the media today. What about Travis Kelce? He spoke for a little bit during the hour-long media session. Here's what Travis Kelce had to say.
Young kids and Joe Thuney, how frustrating was it walking off the field last time after not being able to protect Patrick in that game against the Bucs? And what is the new offensive line?
There was a lot that happened that game outside of the injuries that we had at offensive line. Obviously, everyone likes to point at that offensive line because of how beat up it was, but there was a lot of things that we didn't win that game because of, and that was one of them. And hopefully this game I start fast and I put our team in a position to have a chance to win this thing.
But how much have the new offensive linemen had, like Orlando?
I'll tell you what, man, it's been so much fun, man. Just to have their leadership, just to have their professionalism in the building. Another high IQ guys. All of them are smart individuals, guys that understand football to another level, and that only makes it easier for the people around them. It definitely makes it easier on me, and I know it makes it easier on Pat when we're all on the same page doing the same things, man. a professionalism, man. A guy that just, when he's here in the building, he's a fun guy to be around, and just a guy that's here to work. And there were times in training camp where he challenged the entire offensive line, being a new face, being kind of the leader of that wide receiver group. To, hey man, I know we're dog tired, and you know, coach is giving us a break here, but why don't we push through some of these extra reps that we could be getting? And you know, that kind of stuff goes a long way. It shows guys your dedication, your devotion, and how hard you want this. And yeah, Juju has shown nothing but that since he's been here.
Hey Travis, when you think about Coach Reed and what you've learned and observed about him over the years, what was it like in the moment of crisis at the last Super Bowl when his son is in an accident and you have this serious situation? What did you learn about Coach Reed during that?
Well, I learned how strong of a guy he is, both mentally, how strong his family is, how tight knit this entire locker room is, and how much we love that guy, man. He it wasn't an easy time for him, and we're definitely trying to make this year that much better. And I got to get another one from Big Red, man. I love that guy too much.
Do you think that had any effect on what happened in the game?
All you saw on that game was because of how we played on that field. I don't think anything like that got in the way. No.
A little bit of a lighter note on.
I'm sorry. Man, his energy, man. Pops is one of the best rookies that I've seen come in terms of his mentality, how he's attacked every single rep, and how good of a teammate he is. I heard him yesterday talking about how it doesn't matter, you know, if he had to take a back seat to somebody else's success or be the guy that was, you know, that was coming in instead of the guy that was starting. However, he's got to get it done. He's willing to be that teammate and be the best version of him for us. And, you know, that's the best mentality you can have, especially at running back in the situation that we have in the Chiefs running back room for sure.
Coach had you guys in pads yesterday. Super Bowl week in pads. You guys haven't done that in years past. What do you think of that?
Oh, I loved it. It was good to throw the pads on, get back in the routine of things, and come off the ball, hit somebody, and you know, you always want to stay in that mode of keeping the physicality up and making sure you don't lose that. And I think Coach Reed does it better than anybody on how to gauge that throughout the year.
Is there anything you've learned from your experience in terms of what not to do during Super Bowl week, all the distractions and things? Is there anything even in the past that you're like, I'm definitely going to avoid stepping into that or talking to this person? Is there any of that in your life?
I feel like the biggest thing is just take naps. You got to find a way to get rest, both mentally, physically. And I find my little cat naps, little 45 to hour naps throughout the day help me kind of recharge and stay focused on the task at hand.
How many are you taking a day?
I've already taken one today, and it's not even noon. So. Oh, nice.
Yeah. He was telling me the first time that you guys met, like you walked into a gym. I was watching the podcast with your dad. I saw the photos in the back. You guys look like hockey, basketball.
Oh, yeah.
At a time where so many elite head coaches are telling 9-year-olds to specialize in one sport, how important is it from your standpoint to be a versatile athlete? How is that helping you?
When I tell you it is everything, I put my stamp on me being able to play all sports growing up and helping me develop as a football player. I really do, especially at the tight end position. There's so much of what I do that you can see on the basketball court, that I took from the basketball court, things that I've done on the ice rink that have just helped me so much in terms of instinctually being able to be, you know, doing one thing and understand there's a lot of other things going on around you. I think it's kind of silly when coaches, especially in the team aspect, it's one thing if it's golf or tennis or, you know what I mean, a individual sport. Maybe that's something that you focus on. But if it's a team sport, man, you need to get out here and be around as many different styles of culture, of people, to just make you more well-rounded so you can be the best teammate you can. And I think all those sports definitely played a part in who I am and the athlete that I am today.
What else can some of those other sports do to help you?
Man, I like to say in the sports like hockey, lacrosse, where you're using a stick or something to be able to control a ball or a puck. as well as going down the ice and doing things. It's like I'm running and I'm reading the defense. I'm doing two things at once almost on the hockey and lacrosse field, or hockey rink in the lacrosse field. And it's just those kind of things, being a basketball player and being good with the rebounding, ball skills and things like that have helped me out tremendously. And then, I could say baseball, tracking the ball in the air, right? You know, it all kind of ties in at the end of the day. Hockey, being able to play with leverage. Me and my brother wrestling in the backyard, leverage. You know what I mean? Just things like that have all kind of formed this, what you see on the field today, man.
That's a great answer, man. That's the reason why, you know, tracking a baseball helps you track a football, you know, eye-hand coordination with basketball. You know, wrestling for football, tremendous. I have said from the get-go, wrestling is the toughest sport out there. And I don't think there's a close second. If there would be, it would be swimming, not because, you know, you can drown, but because that I think is the most time consuming. Like if you think about it, the swimmers get up at like 5 a.m, swim for like 2.5 hours. They have 2 days every day, swimming does. And you have to be so technique with all of that, you know?
Very technical.
On both wrestling and swimming. Because if you are just a smidge off on your technique in wrestling, you are pinned.
Yeah.
And swimming, same thing. So, but that's great. That's a great way, you know? Play everything. Play all the sports.
Yeah, sports specialization is something you should try to avoid.
That until you get a little bit later,
yeah,
then I'm okay with that.
Like we can start talking about you know, committing to only a single sport like halfway through high school. We can start having those discussions.
Yeah, that's
through
great
that. No, kids, play everything. Everything is cross applicable.
And he explained everything there. You know, reading defenses while you're running. That's a great answer. What a great answer. Coming up next, we've got our Super Bowl prop bet. Plus, what do the experts say? We'll get to that coming up next. Of the day. This one is coming from, you ready for this? This one is coming from the analytics. Fulton, the analytics.
Oh no, the big scary numbers, Jake. The numbers are out to get us. The nerds are ruining the game.
The nerds are trying to make you some money is what they're trying to do.
One of the few times people don't get with the nerds telling them anything.
After simulating Eagles versus Chiefs 10,000 times and examining the dozens of NFL player props, the model says Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes goes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Says here, Mahomes was excellent in the AFC Championship game, throwing for 326 yards and 2 tutties. The health of his ankle was a concern heading into the game, but he scrambled for a key first down in the final seconds. Philadelphia's been one of the top defensive teams this season, but the unit ranked outside of the top 10 in touchdown passes allowed. So the model has identified value in this prop. Now, here's the thing about this prop. Over under 1.5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Screams over, right? You got.
I'd feel more over than under, yeah.
Screams over. But here's the real kicker in this. You gotta look at the rate of return. All right.
Yeah, what's the ROI on this?
Exactly. So if you go passing touchdowns.
And what are the odds on Mahomes over 1.5?
All right. Minus 210.
See, the ROI there doesn't feel strong enough for me.
Whereas the under 1.5 plus 154. I think he's going to throw 2 touchdowns. I do. So just give you an idea. So if I think the over on Patrick Mahomes, 1.5 touchdowns, and let's say I want to wager 20 doll hairs, that means I'm only getting back. You're wagering $20 to win $9.52. Is that bang for your buck? Now,
yeah.
Here's the other thing. If you think it's a lock, he's gonna throw for 2 touchdowns this game, obviously. You say, all right, I'm gonna put down $50. You will basically win just under 25. But if you think it's a guarantee, throw it on there.
Yeah.
Throw it on there.
This is one that I would be tempted to put into a parlay to give me better my investment.
A little teaser action.
Solo. I just don't. I think there's not enough bang for my buck here.
Okay.
But I do think it's something with enough value and enough good odds that you can do some work here.
So
we can play with it.
Okay, let's say you put over 1.5 because we like that one. All right,
we like that. We like over 1.5 passing touchdowns. We like that.
Okay, and then let's say you in your very first one, you like the over Isaiah Pacheco rushing.
I did.
So
that was me yesterday.
Let's throw in Pacheco, which by the way, it is down to 46.5.
That's what we love to see, folks.
Did you already bet it?
I have not. No. I am waiting to put anything together till the end of the week.
So we're gonna put that down at 46.5 because I gained you. So let's say you want to parlay them puppies. A $10 bet would net you $16. So if you think Isaiah Pacheco is going to go over 46.5 yards, which young Fulton does, then and you think
that right there ups your odds to a spicy plus 163.
Yeah, not bad.
Those are two, in my opinion, very things that are likely to happen and you get a nice little that's where you don't if you have something you like, but your worry is, you're not getting a good bang for your buck there. That's where you got to get a little creative. That's where I'd go with the Mahomes over on touchdown passes.
Okay.
That's where I'd go.
What do you got for today?
For today, I have one that is, I felt yesterday was, we're not going full out of the box, but it was definitely not that creative. This one I will openly preface with, this is probably the mildest one I will have all week. But it is, in my opinion, still worth putting out there. Give me Travis Kelce over 79.5 receiving yards. Travis Kelce had 78 against Cincinnati. He has gone over 80 yards or more in a majority of his last playoff games. He is going to be fed the ball because that's what happens in these games. Travis Kelce in the postseason is inevitable. Like,
Thanos.
There are 3 people that I would say are probably the best chance that the Chiefs win at getting MVP. Mahomes, obviously, quarterbacks are favored. Chris Jones, if he just eats Jalen Hurts the entire game and just ruins that man's life. Or Travis Kelce if he has himself a night.
I think Travis Kelce has a chance to go full on Deion Branch in Super Bowl. Was that Super Bowl 20? Super Bowl was at 34. Super Bowl 34. He caught 11 passes for 133 yards.
I can see it.
That is what you have to do if you I always
here's I just want everyone's consideration on this. This is just simply Travis Kelce's last 8 postseason games. 78 against the Bengals, 98, 95, 96, 108, 133, 118, 109. The last time, now I will say, this is the spicy part of it though. The last time he had a bad game in the playoffs, because it still wasn't bad, was the Super Bowl against San Francisco, Super Bowl 54. He only had 6 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Since that game.
Did he do well against the Bucs?
Against Tampa Bay in the loss, he had 10 catches, 133 yards on 15 targets.
Dang.
Since Super Bowl 54, Travis Kelce has been a monster in the playoffs.
Give me the yards.
109, 118, 133, 108, 96, 95, 98, 78.
Damn. I mean, he is second to Jerry Rice in every statistical category in the playoffs.
So, again,
and if you're second to Jerry Rice, you're
pretty good.
You're basically the leader because he's an alien.
So this is not a spicy one. This is not a I'm going out there. This is not a I'm digging deep into the numbers to help you out. This is a Travis Kelce is a monster in the playoffs. Philadelphia's linebackers are their weakest part of their defense. Now, they have some good safeties that could change some things up. Philadelphia can roll some coverage. But overall, their linebackers in coverage, their middle linebackers, so, they play the 3-4s. The outsides are a bit different. Who's going to be on Travis Kelce could be a bit weaker than other parts of the defense. Just telling you.
Here are the last 4 Super Bowl MVPs. Wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver.
Could see a tight end. It's probably going to be Mahomes.
Think a tight
Has a tight end ever won Super Bowl MVP?
I'm looking it up here. Desmond Howard won it. He's kick returner, punt returner.
Oh, good for Desmond Howard.
Corner, wide receiver. Richard Dent, the end. Running back, Marcus Allen. Boy, is that running back Emmitt Smith, Terrell Davis. Nope. No. No D lineman has. Richard Dent did.
Yes, I think, yeah.
Because that Von Miller is listed as a linebacker.
Yeah. That is what it was.
All right. I have got.
What do you got for today, Jake?
I have got over receiving yards Isaiah Pacheco at 16.5.
Taking a little inspiration from Dan there on that.
I was leaning one of the two. I am not sold on Juju being healthy and Juju being a factor, and his is 37.5. You look at what Juju has done recently, has not been great. So I looked at Juju 37.5, and I did look at Pacheco. because I do think that they will run screen.
I think there's gonna be a lot of screens in this game too, because it's what the Chiefs' game plan was against San Francisco. When you got that aggressive, front, when you got that aggressive pass rushing unit, a way to get them and slow them down is just throw screens behind them, and the Chiefs are very adept at that. Andy Reid's got a big bag of tricks there.
Here's Isaiah Pacheco's last couple of games receiving. 5 receptions, 59, 1 for 6, 2 for 18, 1 for 32, 1 for 11, 2 for 23, 2 for 16, 2 for 17. So he's hit on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So I'm gonna say the over on Isaiah Pacheco. Jerick McKinnon's over under is 22 and a half. If you're a Jet McKinnon prop bet.
It feels like it's creeping to an area that I don't feel good about.
That one a little Pacheco?
Yeah, McKinnon's.
Yeah, Pacheco's really it's one screen.
It's one real good screen or a couple of good peppers in the flat.
2 good peppers in the flat dump off type of deal.
Yeah. McKinnon, that just it's a little, and then you're kind of picking which back, and I think they're going to try some power run, a bit more power sets. However, I will say that, and here's my other thought. I don't know if McKinnon's going to be used in so many pass routes when he's out there because he's so good at pass protection.
Correct.
I think they might use him to do more chips, more help, and stuff like that. Might affect some things.
The reason why I said Juju under, and I might come back to Juju under 37 and a half.
Yeah.
Here are his last games. 7 yards, 29, 35, 21, 27, 88. Before that, it was 88, 74, 35, 38, 88, 120, 130. But the last 4 games, he has not done well. So I might, you might hear that again tomorrow or on Thursday and Friday. I don't know. Maybe Thursday we can mix it up.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday might start getting buck wild.
We need to find out. I am looking on and I'm not seeing any of the ridiculous
wacky
props. And it might be the case. It might be the case because we're not allowed to. I mean, there's every single bet in this one. Like in the first quarter, quarter spread, Chiefs plus 1.5. Like you can bet first quarter winner. Do you think the Chiefs are going to win the first quarter? That's 106. Exact points scored. Will the Chiefs score 7 points? Will the Chiefs it's
gets wild?
Yeah, I mean you can do some
it's great,
unbelievable things. But so far, that's what we got for our day 2 of our prop bet. Coming up next, the Kansas City Chiefs. What we learned about the Chiefs last night. And we're going to get into a little red zone discussion because that's a big deal. We'll get to that coming up. Finishing up this edition of Mic'd Up. Tomorrow, we will get to plenty more. We'll talk a little K-State. K-State, TCU tonight. Eddie Lampkin going for TCU. Big deal? Not a big deal?
It's important to see how much he's going to go. Big difference, though, because remember last time when you and I discussed this, and Eddie Lampkin, feasted against K-State on the interior. They didn't have David Gasson last time. They have him now. He at least has some weight and some strength that he might be able to bang down low with the big fella. I'm intrigued. I'll be honest. I'm going to watch every minute of that game tonight, and I'm going to be very much intrigued by how does K-State defend Eddie Lampkin, because I think Jerome Tang might throw something a little different at him. How healthy is Lampkin, and then can David Gasson hang down low?
Yeah, Gasson is 6'9". Yeah, I thought he
6'9", got some weight to him.
He's 6'9", 220. I thought he was. He's from the Netherlands.
Oh,
I
didn't know that. I was pretty confident I knew he wasn't from the States, but I didn't know it was the Netherlands.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was that big. I thought he was like 6'5", 6'4".
No, he's got some
he's not little.
It's not the perfect answer to Lampkin because he's only 6'9", but he's got some good length.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me, the difference is he's got the weight to stay down there. Like Naquan Tomlin's got the length to deal with Eddie Lampkin. Sure, Naquan Tomlin also can be knocked over by a feather duster. No offense to him, he's just very slight. He's very slight.
He's listed at 210.
That feels generous.
It does. Very slender.
He's very slender. And so,
Very slender.
that was my thing with Naquan Tomlin the first game, was just, I know you can defend him with your length and your height, but you're going to get bullied by the fact that Eddie Lampkin's built like a brick house.
I don't know if he's built like a brick house. He ain't Keontae Johnson build. But
it's not as much muscle. There's some muscle there. He's a strong boy, but also just it's just a hefty boy.
Keontae Johnson is
Keontae Johnson's built like a linebacker.
Yes, yeah, for real.
Keontae Johnson is a linebacker playing basketball.
I bet you if Keontae Johnson, he could go like the Mark Vital route or the
yes.
Who played for BCU and then didn't play played in the NFL. Plays for the Colts.
Mo Alley Cox.
Yes. He played for VCU basketball.
Yeah, and then became a tight end.
I could see Keontae Johnson doing that. Except the difference is Keontae Johnson's probably going to be a third team or honorable mention All-American, whereas Mo Alley Cox was not. But Keontae Johnson.
Keontae Johnson's strong.
Stout. Yes.
He's a very, very well-built man.
Yeah, no Mike Miles in this game tonight is the bigger factor.
It changes a lot. Mike Miles does so much for TCU and spearheads their scoring. I'm intrigued by now. This game is important from a simple point of K-State's been having turnover problems lately, and TCU scores the most turnover points per game, most fast break points per game in the country.
They have I want to say 20 against K-State earlier this year. But how much
I don't know if it's still there, but they averaged 21 a game.
But that was with Mike Miles.
It was. And that does change things. That's what I'm intrigued by. But also, a way to contain that is just K-State, take care of the basketball. Just take care of the ball.
When it comes to the Jayhawks, who got a big win last night.
That was huge.
That is a Big 12. That was the definition. Without the true definition of, win or go home.
Yeah.
But that was a true definition of a must-win game for the Big 12 title. Yeah. If they don't win that game,
if you wanted to, if KU had lost last night, them winning the Big 12 would have been you need to send up as many prayers as you have.
Yeah.
Like mathematically, it could still happen, but the dominoes that would have to fall for you to get there.
Yeah.
Are in the realms of the astronomical. But now you're a game back.
Mm-hmm.
You have Texas still left on your schedule. You can do it.
Looking up the game, and Bill Self is, of course, going to say this, that Joseph Yesufu was the player of the game. The reason why he said is because he was a bench guy. And
you need the bench to perform.
Because they're so banged up.
Yeah, you had 8 dudes last night.
It ain't no. The guy who determined the outcome was DeJuan Harris. If he scores 17, if DeJuan Harris scores 6 points, they pretty much win every game. They beat K-State if DeJuan Harris scores 6. The one game where I'd say if DeJuan Harris scores 6 points, they're still taking that L. That would have been against Iowa State. Wouldn't have mattered in that game. But when DeJuan Harris scores and is a viable option, KU is going to, they're going to win, I'm going to 95% of their games. If DeJuan Harris scores 6 or more, just 3 layups, 2 layups and a 3. That'd be 7 points.
Yeah.
But you get my my point here. Two layups and 2 free throws, a 3-pointer, a layup and a free. Just get to 6.
The biggest thing, and DeJuan Harris is part of this. KU and really basketball and better. It's a way to score and way to be efficient is scoring in the paint. You need to do that. The problem is KU doesn't have the traditional way that they've used to do that. Traditionally, KU is you got someone you can post up. You throw the ball inside, they back down on the post, and that's how you're scoring in the paint. They don't have that this year, which is weird. It is bizarro world, watching this KU team play, and they don't post anyone up.
No.
It's weird. But
they don't have a post player.
That means if you're going to score in the paint, it's your guards and your wings get downhill. And DeJuan Harris, and Bill Self discussed this a little bit in the postgame last night. DeJuan Harris was so fixated as of late, less on being aggressive and maybe trying to score, and it was just fixated on running the offense. It was just, that's what he was thinking about. He is better when it's just, no, if you get the angle downhill, he's got a good floater. He's got a good game to try and play at the rim. When DeJuan Harris is aggressive and is in some level a threat and is willing to put pressure on the defense and KU has multiple guys trying to score inside, that's when they're better.
Yep.
And you saw that against Texas last night.
Last night was opening night. I enjoy opening night. I know a lot of people don't. I know Dan didn't watch a second of it. You guys laughed at me because
you put it on the main TV, man.
No, here's the thing. I can watch KU play basketball. I'm going to watch KU play basketball 15 more times this year.
It's an aggressive number.
Well, they got 7 games the rest of the year, 3 in the Big 12. I said, what, 18? 15?
You said 15.
No, you're like 12 times. I'm good just watching them take on Texas. Besides, the game, at the end, really wasn't that close.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's the reason why.
That's fair.
So that's why I liked watching that. Plus, I could find out a whole lot about my team that I didn't know about. Like Travis Kelce, tequila drinker.
That tracks.
Tequila and water. He's not pounding tequila. Tequila and water is not he ain't shooting tequila shots.
No.
But, I didn't know what he was. Like, we know Patrick Mahomes is a Coors Light guy.
Yes.
Mainly because he's paid by Coors Light.
Yes.
But he's a Coors Light guy. We know that. I did not know that Travis Kelce was a tequila drinker. I didn't know that. Colin Saunders, funny man.
That tracks.
I mean, that Tommy Townsend, big trash talker.
Love
I'm
it.
aware of that. I'm aware of that.
Gotta love my punter.
Will there be a touchback in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Bet it, baby. It's like minus 120. And both teams don't punt it a whole lot, though.
Well, you said a touchback.
Yeah.
Kickoffs going back the end zone are touchbacks.
Will the opening kickoff be a touchback?
I would say yes.
That's like
I'd bet a yes on that.
I think that's a pretty
Jake Elliott and Harrison Butker each got some boomers.
Yeah. You can bet that too.
Yeah. You can bet it on nearly anything.
Yeah. Do you think there will be a punt touchback?
That one I have to think about.
Yeah.
I have to think about that.
Yeah. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. You got for your mic drop.
K-State, go beat TCU tonight. It'll be fun with the Outcon of Doom. I've liked that place's energy again. It's enjoyable.
The next time you hear the song Umbrella, just think that one of Patrick Mahomes' favorite songs is Umbrella.
Ella.
So he likes Rihanna's Umbrella. It's his favorite Rihanna song. There you go. That's why. Last night, important. Coming up, we got 580 Sports Talk here on 580 WIW.